Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. I am Jen Sugarmeyer, your host of Mindset in the Morning, and we are here live 5 days a week at 6 a.m. Central Standard Time, but it's YouTube, so you can tune in whenever you would like. And on Mindset in the Morning, we talk mindset. That's what we do because there's this holy trinity of health, and that is mind, body, soul. And we know that we need to be working out our bodies and stretching and do the things, I don't know, at least a few times a week. And we know that we need to take care of our soul and our spirit. And maybe we meditate, maybe we go to church, whatever it is that we may do. But for some reason, we get really uncomfortable. I can't even talk. We get really uncomfortable about talking about the mind. We think as though if we admit or if we do any mindset work that, I don't know, we don't have it all together, but that's not the truth. The truth is physical health and mental health are the exact same. You have both physical health and mental health. And the same as you need to take care of your physical health, you need to take care of your mental health. And how do you take care of your mental health? You take care of your mind. So it is so important to take care of your mind every single day. I am constantly working on mine because life is, I don't know about you, life is always throwing things at me. I mean, all I have to do is just open my eyes and something that I didn't expect to happen, or I turn on the news and something crazy in the world is going on, or you talk to your friend and you're like, what the heck? There are constantly those moments all throughout the day. Maybe you go into the office and you leave with a box because they just laid you off. You didn't expect that. Tons of things are always happening in our life. And then what happens? They get us really frustrated. And so how can we stay in a state of peace and clarity and flow, which is where we want to be when this world is crazy? How do we do that? And it's through the mind. So we're actually going to be talking about some of those topics that I just talked about. We're going to talk about letting go when things don't go your way. And I love this topic because a lot of times things don't go our way. We've got this idea of how things are supposed to turn out. And when they don't, what happens? A lot of times we get just pissed off. You know, you didn't expect that there was going to be rain on your wedding day. You didn't plan for that. You didn't want that. How could that happen? That was the unexpected, but it happened. And now, well, you didn't have the outdoor wedding like you wanted. So what do you do in those situations? And that's what we're going to be talking about today. But first, if you would, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. That does help with this algorithm so that we can reach more people. This is a message that more people need to hear. It's a message that everyone needs to hear. And so by hitting that button, you will help somebody else today that really needs to hear this message. So, all right. Let's rock and roll. So I thought about this topic because I've been in Vegas for 4 nights, which is that's a long time in Vegas. Excuse me. And it has been an incredibly long week of conferences and networking and, just absolutely action packed. I would have loved to have, been dancing and out more, but it was literally all networking and conferences. So absolutely exhausted. Well, on my 3rd night, we had a suite. There was a group of us that went up there with one of these projects that I'm working on, and we had a suite, and I left my backpack in there. And in this backpack was my computer, and I use my computer to stream every single morning. That's how I record these videos. And so I didn't have my computer, and I was unable to get into the suite. I tried to make a few phone calls. There was nothing I could do. So at that point, what do? I can't get my computer. This isn't going the way that I thought it was going to, because I like to get up. And there were some days this week, I will tell you, I had 2 hours of sleep and then I got up and I recorded. So I'm very committed to coming on the show and giving a good message because I believe in this so much. I believe that we need to be hearing messages every single morning, that I'm willing to do that. And here I am. I have every intent on doing that because I want to, because I get to. And yet I left my computer, and I've tried streaming on my phone. I cannot figure that out. So that wasn't an option either. So what do you do? Well, I just took an Uber back to my hotel because I was staying a few miles away, and I went to sleep. There was nothing that I could do at that point. So I had to just find another way. So I wanted to talk about that because this is constantly coming up in our space, and it doesn't matter what it is. Again, it could be your wedding day. It could be the fact that, you had something to do for, your work, or something that you've committed to. And constantly we are being faced with these things that we didn't expect. And all of a sudden they've changed the trajectory of what we planned on doing. And we can get really frustrated sometimes. So how do we not get frustrated? How do we just learn to let go when things happen and our situation changes? So that's what we're going to be talking about today. All right. First and foremost, we need to acknowledge where we're at. This is the most powerful thing that we can do. We talked about this a few weeks ago, that the best thing that you can do for yourself is to become aware of what you're feeling. And if we are able to catch things as they are happening, this is where you have the option of getting in the driver's seat. So if it's already after the fact, well, you can get in the driver's seat at that point. It's not that there's nothing we can do about the past. So every single second that passes, there's no more. That's gone. Bye. You're done. Nothing we can do. We can only catch things in the present. We can look back and say, I can do differently, but you can only do differently in the present, right? You can't do differently in the past. That's done. So the most powerful place for us to catch things is when they first happen, so that we aren't always looking back and saying, okay, let me see where I can change things now. Because sometimes, I don't know about you, but sometimes I feel like I'm going to sneeze. Sometimes, I did. Hello. Excuse me. So sometimes have you ever found yourself where you just get so angry, like something didn't happen the way that you wanted to, and you get so wrapped up and angry in something, and all of a sudden, that it's just this downward spiral, like somebody cut you off or somebody did something to you, and you're like, I can't believe they didn't show up at my wedding, that blah. And we just get really into that thing, and it sticks with us. And the more we think about it, the more pissed off we get. We cannot believe that would happen. We didn't expect it was going to happen, and it did happen, and we're just mad about it. We didn't expect to go into the office and get laid off. We didn't expect that our significant other was going to do something. We didn't expect that our kids, we didn't expect that our friends, we didn't expect that ourselves, or the weather, or the ground, or anything. And when we do not catch it immediately, and it allows us to go into the state of frustration, all that is happening is we get more and more frustrated. And every time we think about the situation, we get mad, or we get angry, or we're anxious about it, or we're just so frustrated. That's what happens when we allow something to continue without catching it from the beginning and saying, am I in the driver's seat here? And taking control. So the most powerful place, again, that you can be in is catching these things as they happen. So what if the moment that you get laid off, the moment that it starts to rain, the moment that your friend does something that you didn't expect to be done, what if you said, hold on, did I expect this to happen? Yes or no? And you started to become aware of the things that were happening in your space as they were happening, not you reacting and then hindsight's 2020, you could have acted differently, because that's a lot of times how we learn. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, but I'm saying if you're looking back and you are learning from what just happened, if you are looking back and saying, I could have handled that differently, well, next time it comes up, you have to be able to catch the moment it happens so that you do handle it differently. You see what I'm saying? So if we're not catching it from the beginning, then we are going through those negative emotions and they are sticking with us. And what do we know about these negative states of being? That they're not our most powerful states. We are not making our most best decisions. Yeah. Or how about our bestest decisions? We are not making our best decisions when we are in these states of suffering because we're suffering. We're in survival mode. We will do anything to get out of suffering and to feel good. I think about me when I'm hungry or I'm thirsty or, oh, here's one for you. When I really have to go to the bathroom, like, have you ever been there where you just have to go to the bathroom so badly that you start like looking, you're like, you can't find a bathroom anywhere. All right. Anywhere. Maybe you're outside and you're on a walk and all of a sudden you're like, okay, I'm going to go in the woods because I just have to go. And you don't normally go in the woods, right? I mean, maybe you do, but I don't. But I'll tell you, when I went to go visit my parents this year, I had one of those moments and I was like, I'm about to explode. I'm totally about to explode. And I needed to go in the woods. There was nothing that I could do. And why did I do that? Because my body was like, look, you have to do something right now. You have to. My body was suffering. It was like, there's absolutely no way, Chick, that we are going to make it through this. You need to go immediately. So I did. So I was suffering and I found a way to find peace, relief. Hello. So that's what we're going to do when we're suffering. All we're trying to do is to feel better. That's what this is. But either your body is doing it because it's in this negative state of being, or you catch it from the beginning so that it doesn't go into the negative state, so that you're just wanting to feel good, but don't know how to get there, or having to work yourself out of it. So we got to catch it at the beginning. I hope I've made that point because I spent a long time on that point. Take a look and see if this is a situation that you can control. All right, it starts raining on your wedding day. That sucks because you wanted it outside. But is it something that you can control? Do you have control over the weather? What do you have control over? I mean, think about that situation. What would you do? You have an outdoor wedding. It rains. What do you do? What are your options? You probably have a lot of them. Well, you could have the wedding outside and get rained on. That's an option. You could cancel the wedding, say, come back another time. We're going to keep watching the weather, come back another day. You could have it indoors. There are lots of options if you start to look for those options, but you don't control the weather. But what do you control? So we have to start looking at, all right, what is it in this situation that I can control? And what you're going to find is that you only control yourself. That's all you can control. You can cancel your wedding, and say, hey, we'll tell you when to come back. But it doesn't guarantee that the people that are there are going to be able to come back. But you can control if you cancel the wedding and put it on another day. You see, looking at a situation and being able to judge, being able to assess, that's probably a better word, what you control and what you don't control is power. Why? Because it's telling you what you own. And what do we know when you put your effort into things that you don't control? We know two things, right? One, you're wasting your time. I can't do anything about the rain. I can't do anything about who's president. I can't do anything about the stock market. There's nothing I can do. So as much as I want to put my attention and energy and say, oh, this sucks, there's nothing I can do about it. But I can look at myself and say, okay, well, I can learn to, let these things go, or I can make a different decision, but that's on me. So you've got to take a look and say, okay, what is it that I control? And it's an art. It's an art to understand what you control and what you don't control. All right. So what can we do once we know what we control and what we don't control? So here are 4 tips. We're going to run through these really quickly, and this is going to help you learn to let go. So once you understand what it is that you control, of course, you still wanted that outdoor wedding. Of course you did. You imagined that you were going to have these beautiful pictures and, all the things, which, by the way, you can still go have those beautiful pictures. You just might have to come back another day. just you and your spouse, you and your newlywed, whatever that may be. So first and foremost, what you can do is just learn to roll with it. You know what I mean? Just go with it. Yeah, you wanted that outdoor wedding, but it's fine that it's inside. It's no big deal because there's a beautiful venue inside, and that's all right that it's not outside. It was kind of cold anyways. It was maybe a little bit warm. Definitely don't want to be sitting in the rain. So just roll with it. What is it that you control and you can make a different decision? So just roll with the punches. Life is like a boxing match. It is constantly, and you know what I learned in boxing is that when you stand still, what's going to happen? You're going to get punched in the face. So what do you have to do? They teach you always be moving your head. Even if I'm not punching, move your head. Why? Because when the other boxer is looking at you, then it's harder for them to, oh, there's my target. I'm going to hit it. You have now become a moving target. And that's what life is. So roll with it. Roll with it. Life is punching at you. Oh, okay. I guess I'm going inside. Oh, okay. I guess we're going outside. Whoop. Okay. I guess that person's president. I didn't want him to be president, but that's okay. We'll try again in another 4 years. You know what I'm saying? Just roll with it. Do the best that you can with what you have. All right. Secondly, all right, it happened for a reason. And I can't always tell you why, but it happened for a reason. I was having a conversation with a gentleman last night, and I was asking him, I said, so what do you do? And he was telling me that he was part owner in this basketball team and whatnot. And he said, I was supposed to be on the basketball team at some college or whatever it was. He said, I was actually supposed to get on this, but it didn't happen. And I said, no, you weren't supposed to get on it. And he was like, I said, you weren't supposed to. I said, because look at all the things that you have now. I said, would you have those had you made it? He said, no. I said, well, there you go. Do you like what you do? He said, I love it. I said, are you making the impact that you want? He said, absolutely. This is better than anything that I ever could imagine. I said, so why do you think that you were supposed to get on that team? Whatever team it was. He was like, yeah, you're right. You see, the thing is, we have this idea of what it is supposed to look like because we are God. No, we're not. God is God. And we may think because we want something, because we're human, we all have wants. But what is it that we need? God knows. We know what we want. Sometimes we know what we need, but sometimes our wants get so strong. So it happened for a reason. And I don't know why, but you got to it's a mindset. You say, okay, I'm having an indoor wedding. I don't know why, but that's how it's supposed to be. And I'm just going to roll with it. There's a reason for it. I don't know. I'm not God. I'm not going to try to pretend to be God. So I'm just going to go with it. All right. So just roll with it. All right. Third, gratitude. Oh, the topic of gratitude. Yeah, we talk about gratitude all the time because gratitude combats everything. Well, I'm grateful that my significant other showed up at the altar because guess what? Some people, I talked to somebody this week and they got left at the altar. The person didn't show up. But you know what? Even in that situation, the person can still have gratitude. I'd be grateful that the person didn't show up because that's not a good sign of things to come. Okay. There is always gratitude that you can find in any situation. So yeah, it does suck getting left at the altar. I can only imagine having all your friends and family around, but better to find it out now before you lose half your stuff to somebody who doesn't have enough respect to tell you that they changed their mind. Do you know what I'm saying? So there's always gratitude. All right. Lastly, all right. If you are stuck in whatever you think was supposed to happen, hear me out. It is controlling you. You are not in control of it. So I think about the times that I was driving and people were cutting me off and I would get so angry. Who's in control? I'm not. I am allowing this anger because I didn't ask myself, hey, would I want to be angry? And if I had asked myself that question and been honest, I would have said, no, nobody likes being angry. I'd rather just be happy and at peace. But no, I was frustrated and angry. But this person that I couldn't even see had a level of control over my actions that I allowed to happen. I allowed all those to happen. So when we are in these states of suffering because we are trying to control something that is out of our control, then it is actually controlling us. You see? So what I want as you go out into the day today, start to become aware when these things are happening from the beginning. Always be aware of your actions and your thoughts and be asking yourself. And it's like my internal dialogue in my head is not those 4 words, one question. Does this serve me? Does this serve me? Does this like I'm not a robot, you know what I mean? And you get used to it as you start to do personal development. I am in a relationship with myself 24 hours a day. Oh my gosh, 24 hours a day I'm with this chick. And this chick sometimes can get angry and sometimes she can get sad and sometimes she can get frustrated. And so I have to manage that. And you have to do that with you, but you can only control you. So you will start to get used to that internal conversation in your head as you do this more. Ooh, I don't feel good. If you've never felt good your entire life, then one more thing that doesn't feel good, you're not going to notice. But when you start to feel good and then something negative comes your way and it doesn't feel good, you're going to notice. So you've got to get in control of your thoughts so that they aren't controlling you. Start to look for the gratitude in all of the things. What am I grateful for about the situation? Okay, fine. It didn't happen the way that I wanted it to, but what am I grateful for? Learn to just roll with it. Remember that boxing, boom, boom, boom. Don't stand still. This is how it's supposed to be. Boom. Because what's going to happen? You're going to get hit in the face. So learn to roll with it because that is how life is. And remember that it happened for a reason. And you know what? You may not ever find an answer, or it may not unveil itself for many years, just like the gentleman that I spoke with. But you know what? He sees the reason now. Absolutely. Because he had a lot of good things to say about the impact that he's doing and the job that he has and how much he likes it. And he wouldn't have had it had he been accepted on that basketball team. Well, I was supposed to do this. No, you weren't. It happened the way it was supposed to. All right. That is it for the day. That is why I was not here yesterday. And it is Thursday. So tomorrow is Friday. We're going to not sugarcoat it tomorrow, which I don't really sugarcoat it ever. I will tell you like it is, but we're going to dig into a topic tomorrow. So I will see you back here, same time, same place tomorrow. Go be powerful. You got this. Catch those thoughts as they're happening. Don't let life control you. Get in the driver's seat. All right. I'll see you back here tomorrow. Cheers.